The Vanishing of Asha Degree, 25 Years in the Dark. It's said that she packed her book bag and slipped out into the darkness while a storm rolled over North Carolina. She walked down a dark highway alone, never to be seen again. But now, 25 years later, search warrants reveal a different story. Names have surfaced, phones have been seized, and a person allegedly tied to this case once said, "I killed Asha Degree," according to a witness. And sadly, questions have even lingered about her own father as well. What happened to Asha? Why did she leave? Did she even leave on her own? And after all this time, are we finally closer to answers, or just more questions, more deflection? In the South, we taught to be home by the time the street lights came on, before the porch light flickers to life, calling us in just as the creeping fingers of darkness close in. That light meant safety. It meant somebody was waiting, but sometimes someone doesn't make it home. This is a podcast that is a narrative journey into the stories of the missing, the unsolved, and the strange. Here we cover true cases with reverence and care and a steady light. And we also step into Southern-born lore and legend and the kind of tales, like in my family, that have been passed down from one porch to another for generations. Some stories are in the paper and some live in the bloodline. But around here, folklore ain't just fiction, y'all. It's what somebody's mama, somebody's grandma, somebody's auntie or uncle swore was the truth. And in the South, we respect that. But all of them linger just beyond the light. Welcome to the Beyond the Porchlight podcast. I'm LB. This is the inaugural episode of this podcast, and I look so forward to sharing more stories, more mysterious cases, and everything in between with you as we journey on. So let's get into it. Tonight we're going to begin with not fiction, not legend, not lore, but with a beyond troubling real case. One that has haunted the Carolinas for nearly 26 years at this point. This is the story of Asha Degree, a 9-year-old girl from Shelby, North Carolina, who vanished in the early morning hours of Valentine's Day 2000. Her case is as mysterious and unbelievable now as it was then. And just in this past year, the investigation has taken a new turn. So, as a disclaimer, first off, this episode does not contain any accusations, only questions, theories that are already out there. Some may be my own personal at some point, but this is for entertainment purposes only, and I'm just covering the case. I'm not a detective, I'm not law enforcement, and I'm not an attorney. So, this case is a reminder that every missing child leaves behind people still waiting, right? And a porch light that is still burning. Let's talk about Asha's world. Asha Degree. Again, she was a 9-year-old fourth grader living in a working class home in Shelby, North Carolina. She was said to be quiet, smart. She came from a church-going, close-knit family. She loved basketball and reading. And her parents, Harold and Aquila Degree, they kept a close eye on their kids. There are 2 children, son O'Brien, who was 10 at the time that Asha went missing. They shared a room together, like me and my older brother did, and like many kids did back in the day, and probably do now if I had to guess. There was no history of abuse that was known. There was really no known chaos in this family. Nothing on the surface that hinted that Asha would ever just leave on her own. And not just leave, but leave in the way that she did. Leave it in the dark, alone, in stormy weather. It's said that she was actually afraid of darkness, afraid of storms, afraid of dogs, and even cemeteries, which makes sense for a child her age, right? Shoot, I'm even afraid of some of those things if you put them all together. So, let's get some history. February 13th, it was a normal day in the Degree household. They had church, dinner, family time. The parents claimed that there was a basketball game on that some of the family members were watching, but then there was a power outage in the neighborhood. And they would hear about this power outage from a family member, and that it was due to a car accident that actually, I believe, was fatal. The mother said that the kids were told to go to bed at some point, and that Harold came home from work also at some point during the night or early into the morning. And the next morning, which happened to be Valentine's Day, Aquila went to wake Asha and O'Brien for school, but that Asha's bed was empty. I guess upon searching, they seen that her book bag was gone and that the front door was unlocked. Now let's talk about the disappearance. Around 4 a.m., 2 truckers claimed to have seen a small figure believed to be Asha walking along Highway 18 in the dark in this storm. And this figure was dressed in light colored clothes and appeared to not have on a jacket. And now they also said she appeared to have on a dress, which could have possibly been a nightgown. One driver even says that he turned around to try to go see if he actually saw a kid. But by the time he's made a couple of different turns, because he was in something smaller than an 18-wheeler, maybe a 16-wheeler or something like that, that when she saw him coming back, she veered off into this wooded area. And he said he didn't chase her down or didn't get out to go after her, because other drivers may see this and assume he was doing something untoward towards her. But really, call the cops. If you don't want to stop, then again, go to your workplace and call. But that didn't happen. Anyway, the community searched for weeks and nothing, no Asha. Now, over a year later, though, a construction worker clearing land for some new homes in a road about 25 miles away from where Asha was supposedly last sighted, found Asha's book bag, double wrapped in black trash bags. And it was semi-buried. Inside, according to some family members, were items that did belong to Asha, and some that, according to her family, did not. For example, there was a New Kids on the Block t-shirt or nightgown that the family said wasn't hers. And there was also a Dr. Seuss book called McGilligan's Pool that actually was checked out from her school, but not by Asha at the time of the disappearance. It had a stamp from her school, Falston Elementary. Now, I've read that the backpack had Asha's name and phone number inside, as parents often do for the little ones, in school. So inside we have her belongings and possibly another child or children's belongings as well. Or maybe she borrowed or traded things with another kid from school, a friend or a classmate. I know we did that back in my day. But another major thing was DNA, and that has shaped this case to this point. So let's talk about breaks in the case from 2024 through today. Let's fast forward nearly 26 years now, and suddenly this case takes a huge turn. DNA was found in that backpack, and in September of 2024, investigators executed search warrants and made a startling announcement that they now believe that Asha's disappearance was a homicide and that her body would have been concealed. They also stated where they had gotten the DNA from, which was located in her backpack. It was a hair sample found again in her unearthed backpack. They went on to name persons of interest who were members of a local family named the Deadmans. Specifically named by authorities were the parents, Roy and his wife Connie Deadman, and their youngest daughter Anna Lee, and a now deceased man that used to be housed in one of the family's care homes that they owned, named Russell Underhill. The Deadmans actually had 3 daughters: Elizabeth Lizzie Deadman Foster, Sarah Deadman Capel, and Anna Lee Deadman Ramirez. Lizzie would have been 16, Sarah 15, and Anna Lee 13 at the time of Asha's disappearance. Now, another wild drop from this case is that according to warrants, Lizzie and the sisters frequented parties and house parties at the time, and supposedly Lizzie had gotten very drunk at one of these parties, and some witness claims that he heard her make several statements saying that she killed Asha Degree, one specifically saying, "I killed Asha Degree." And he claims that upon her sister Sarah hearing this, that she grabbed Lizzie by the face and told her to shut up in response to her outburst. Now, in February 2025, investigators seized phones and devices from the family. Lizzie also allegedly failed a polygraph test, although we know that those aren't admissible in court. But to me, that's just a lot of factors that don't look good for Lizzie at this point. Now, in messages reviewed by law enforcement, Lizzie supposedly wrote, "The theory is I did it. Accident, covered it up." Authorities further revealed that due to the sisters' ages at the time of Asha's disappearance, that whatever happened would have required adult help for the concealment aspect of the crime. So let's talk about questions and theories. Now, because there are more than a few theories going around about this case, we're just going to talk about the major ones. The Dedmon family, mind you, denies all wrongdoing. Attorney for the family, David Teddy, says that the connections are circumstantial at best, and in reference to that confession, that the witness might have misremembered or exaggerated or taken out of context what she said. So the top theories right now are A, the daughters, possibly Lizzie, hit Asha in a car while driving a patient from one of her father's care homes to the hospital or somewhere else, because supposedly they drove at night. B, Russell Underhill, the deceased man, murdered Asha, and the secret is now buried with him. And 3, that Asha's father, Harold, actually did something to her and she never really ran away at all. So those are the major theories right now. And then there's another lesser talked about theory that one of those folks who actually claimed to have saw her on the road might have done something to her. So let's move forward. In April of this year, a property that was associated with the Dedmons was investigated, and they actually towed away a AMC Rambler, a green one. And supposedly there's a witness, a still unknown witness, who said that they saw Asha be yanked into a green older model vehicle. I don't think anybody even knows who that witness is, or we haven't gotten an official statement. So anyway, after all these years, we have names, we got statements, sightings, there's a green car, there's several searches that have happened. We have a outburst that claimed that someone done something. But we also have no arrests. We have no body. There's no hard evidence of what happened. There's no updates, but every blue moon, literally. There's just silence, pain for the family, speculation, and one of the most chilling cases in modern Southern history. And so we ask questions. Could that quote, "I killed Asha Degree," have been a cruel joke from that sister? Or just because she was drunk? Was the polygraph failure about guilt, trauma, or these memories from her childhood? Could the green car be a missing puzzle piece, or is it just another dead end? And finally, will the truth about Asha ever step back into the light? If you have any information about the disappearance of Asha Degree, you can contact the FBI at 704-672-6100 or the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office at 704-484-4788. Remember, Asha's mother still believes her daughter is alive, and so the light stays on. Until next time, stay safe and keep your light on, because someone might be trying to find their way home. Peace.